Morning, everyone. It is September 3rd, Tuesday, and I want to call to order the Community Development Committee meeting. And I would like the record to reflect that I am present along with my two other council committee members, Mr. Bailey and Mr. Brennan. Does that work, Madam Clerk?
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
All right. And the first thing we have is the approval of the minutes. Madam Clerk, I did have one revision, very slight. On page 2, the last paragraph, it says, Ms. Teresa Wilson, City Manager. I just wanted to take a couple of the extra words out. You said, noted that the city is currently in budget season.
Thank you.
Any other revisions from the other council people who have reviewed the agenda?
No catch there.
Is there a motion to accept the minutes with that one
I move.
change?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we make the change. And we are going to agree by
Unanimous consent.
unanimous consent. All right, thank you so much. So I'm excited. It looks like we have a lot of folks in here today. So I'm excited, and we haven't met in a while, so this is good. The first thing that we have on the agenda is me. Let's Build Together by Ms. Herbert. We had a great event. Was that last Wednesday, y'all?
Yes.
You all know that we started looking at nonprofits and churches that are really banking land, and they have these great ideas for this development that they want to do. And what they confirmed at this last meeting, I was like, well, what's the biggest obstacle? And of course, it's finances. So based on the one that we did in October, we did a survey and asked, what do you all want to hear about next, or what areas you want to go into? And most of the people who responded that they wanted to learn more about single-family homes. So we had a 1-hour meeting, or at least 1 hour of content about developing single-family homes. We had Mr. Lawton to talk about some of the things that we're doing here at the city. We had Ms. Felicia Kilgore, who talked about the funding opportunities that are here. We also had the Columbia Cares, I think that's what Columbia Cares. They came and talked about Section 8 vouchers and how if you are, it is a consistent way to make sure you have a rental payment, because a lot of times, you get folks in the housing rental market can be easy or not, but that does provide a way for consistent rental payments, as well as what I consider an opportunity to minister to the families that need the help. So I didn't get the exact attendance numbers, but it was a great job. And we're looking forward to seeing the survey results to see where we go next. I do believe that it's important to follow the data, because sometimes we think we know what people want to hear. But trying to make sure we give them the information that they need is ultra critical. So that is, I will talk about, so I want to thank Miss Erica, because we developed a sheet that is, I didn't bring y'all copies, I'm sorry. But no, this is what I'm really happy about. This is area median income per person. And so we never know what that means. No one ever knows what the regular median income and what regular is, but we created a chart that shows, and I'll pass this one around for y'all to look at, and Erica may give y'all some copies a little later, but it shows the different income levels. So for instance, Housing Authority always does 30%. The city, we have programs where we might do 50%, 80%. No one knows what that means. This chart tells you, okay, if that's a family of 3 and it's 80%, then they can't make more than $62,000. And then to make it more applicable, we have certain jobs. that fall to show you what the incomes are. And I added particularly city jobs so that I could show folks how city folks easily could qualify for in low-income housing, what we consider low-income housing. Because sometimes there's this thought that it's only for people who don't work, and there are many people who work and who need assistance. So thank you, Erica, for reading all of my, she deciphered a lot of stuff to get this done, so I appreciate that, and I'll pass this around. That is the extent of my report, unless I forgot something, ladies. Oh, thank you. Yes, sir, Mr. Brennan.
Madam Chairwoman, let me ask you something. So a lot of the nonprofits have large parcels. Has there been a discussion on the highest and best use of their potential parcels for density's sake under current zoning? I say that because I think that's a wonderful service that our pre-planning folks can do a once quick over real quick to say, you know, single family lots are this big, but if you do urban townhomes with the density under the same rezoning, I don't think we want to get into the rezoning game because that
Right,
becomes an issue.
Right.
But really understanding the balance of investment towards housing versus housing plus infrastructure, I think is an important step for consideration for these nonprofits.
oh, I agree with you. We did have a question, for instance, about duplexes. You know, where those would be allowed or not allowed. I think that because of the group where we may have had people who just had, you know, one or two lots versus we have some folks with 100 acres, some people with 37 acres. I think that it would be a very worthwhile step to do something just with, you know, larger pieces of property, because those are really the ones too that just, a lot of times they don't have a clue which way.
And I agree. And we've always talked about having a planner on retainer
Right.
for not just economic development purposes, you know, doing elevations, but also quick planning layouts for partners.
And that could be a great resource.
Yeah, absolutely, because it allows them to understand and grasp what this investment, how big it is,
Right.
and what impact it could have as well.
I like that. My kind of philosophy has been to do a lot of them. The ones that are coming up are concentrated on an area, so as opposed to the first time, which was this big overview, because people got to ask questions and, you know, kind of get more in detail, so smaller groups maybe.
Well, I think you can probably figure out which ones really do want to pursue it.
Right.
And then if we could partner with them to offer that, I think that'd be a great way to move the projects forward quicker, because then you get your private investment that needs to come, can really say, okay, let me work with
They can know
numbers
what
and see.
what the options are and what the
Yeah.
investment is. And that's so true, because again, the biggest hurdle that they have is resources and funding. And so paying someone to put together plans.
And I don't think it's not a huge investment for that on-call design service.
We will look into that. I like that, Mr. Brennan.
Thank you. And thanks for your leadership on this.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Brennan. I think we're going to be thanking you in a few minutes. Mr. Bailey, you good?
Nothing from me.
All righty. So next we will have grocery store incentive update by Miss Aisha Driggers.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. I hope you had a good holiday. So if you remember correctly, in November of last year, council approved the grocery store rebate that allowed a rebate to grocery stores of their business license fee within certain corridors throughout the city. So we sent out emails or letters to all of the grocery stores that were within the corridor, and we received 3 responses. So to date, 3 of the grocery stores have received the rebate. Those are Tom's Creek Family Farms Mobile Market, Uncle Willie's Grocery Store, and Your Dollar Store have also received the rebate to date. We continue to work with Business License if there are any additional grocery stores that open to make sure that they're aware of the rebate.
Ms. Driggers,
Yes, sir?
Madam Chairwoman.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Last November, I was doing things like putting yard signs out and stuff, so I don't know, this idea, well, this grocery store rebate's news to me. Can
Right.
you give me some more background on the history of it?
Yeah, so as you know, we have a lack of grocery stores in specific corridors throughout the city. So what council did is we looked, I think Greenville had a model for us to use as far as a rebate to attract business or grocery stores. But also we wanted to make the option available to existing grocery stores to receive a rebate of their business license fee. So they can receive, if they are an existing grocery store, they can receive 75% of their business license fee back. If they're a new grocery store, they receive 100% of that rebate. And that goes through our business license department, the application process. But we work with them to approve it. We also work with zoning to make sure they're within those corridors that were indicated in the resolution.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I was taking some notes, I may have missed it. What about some of the traditional grocery stores? Have they not been interested or
There was only one within the corridor. They didn't respond, but certainly we can.
which one
Food
is that?
Lion.
Okay, on Fairfield Road?
Yeah.
Oh, I can assist with that.
Okay.
Thank you. And they may not, they may get a lot of mail.
Right.
Some of the, really some of the larger establishments. So if you could make a note to remind me to assist with reaching out to them,
Okay.
because they wanted to move a while ago.
All right.
Oh, yeah, that's a real thing. Yeah,
Okay.
that's a real thing, yeah.
We'll coordinate.
Okay, thank you.
We're trying to give them money.
Oh, as I'm saying, I think, who knows if the mail got to the right person?
So
like
it
at
always,
my house.
it always amazes me how hard it is to get people money when there's money out there for people.
Yeah.
You know, just,
Well, making them aware, it takes, everyone is not watching our exciting meetings on community development and our big business license rebate programs. I have learned that. So sometimes we have to put a little extra effort to bring them in.
And for the minutes, let's add the ordinance back to it, if you can.
Yes. It's,
And that, so y'all can all
Yeah.
refresh yourself on what the ordinance is and which corridors.
It's resolution 2023-090. And all the ordinance, the corridors are included in that.
One last thing I'll say too is, the ones that have been approved, what's a good way? It is not a great loss of revenue to the city. Is that a proper way?
That's correct.
So that's good.
But they have been very interested, so once they were aware of that, we did start receiving applications pretty quickly.
Okay. Thank you.
I think I'm up for the next one too.
Oh, I was wondering what was happening, okay. And so we're going to also turn it over to Ms. Aisha Driggers to give us the mobile market update.
Yes, so this has been an exciting project, and I have Larry, how do you say it? Schneenberger here as well. He's going to come up with me to help present some of these data points. And then we do have representatives from our food policy committee here as well. Ashley and Shauna are here supporting us, and we talk weekly just to make sure that we're all on track.
Weekly, we talk daily.
Well, now, yeah, I talk daily to Larry. He's like my alarm clock. But we just wanted to provide an update to everyone on how we're going with the mobile market. It's been very successful. There's lots of interest statewide about what we have going on in Columbia, so that's been encouraging. So Larry's going to just provide some updates for that.
Yeah. So
Remind me when you launched. Jeff.
March
Okay.
9th.
9th. And it's up for renewal in January 18th. What was it? 18th?
Yeah, the end of January.
End of
We'll
January.
start working on that.
So Hyatt Park, couple location changes that we learned. Hyatt Park, because they went under construction, we actually moved to North Main, more visible and pretty much doubled sales. And now we I got some food trucks to come with me that got approved by the city. So we got some food trucks going on Mondays to Hyatt Park with the mobile trailer. Tuesdays, of course, we added the
What are those hours? I'm sorry, for Monday.
11 to 4 is all the stops, except for Friday.
Okay.
Tuesday, we added the Comet Central stop, which we've got, it's doing really good. There's some points of they're not quite utilizing the trailer to buy produce as much as I'd like them to, but we're getting sales.
And what's, for clarity for those who don't know, which location, which stop is that for the Comet?
It's in the parking lot next to Comet Central on Sumter.
Sumter.
Yeah. It's a city-owned parking lot. Wednesday, we did not change Greenview, kept it. We have quite a senior turnout there, and we're getting quite a few more clientele. Thursday, we moved the library actually over to Hardin Street in the old Save-A-Lot parking lot, which is right next to Drew Wellness, which increased the sales. So we learned visibility is a little added feature of the trailer. People actually make U-turns on North Main and come to the trailer and see it.
And the visibility is a part of marketing. So what I appreciate too is I try and tell folks that this is not a charitable activity. This is a business. And with businesses, you test the market. And when you need to pivot, you pivot. So I just think it's a great case. What is it, case story? Study case. Somebody remember that one day.
Case study.
Case study. It's been a while. But go ahead. But I mean, just that process of learning when to pivot is good too.
And then Friday on our expense at Tom's Creek, we added the Food Truck Fridays on Bull Street. We've had some pretty neat partnership stuff going on. We've had, of course, Palmetto Credit Union, Citizen Credit Union, actually sponsored the trailer for $1,500 for a sticker. They got their name on the trailer. Social Services, which is the SNAP benefit and Healthy Bucks, they've actually been on site 3 times to promote Healthy Bucks and SNAP benefits to people, giving out free merchandise. They gave out potato peelers and shopping bags and all kinds of good stuff.
And when they came out to do that, did you see increased numbers as well? Or was it advertised such that people would know that they were coming?
No, we did. They because we set the table out front of the trailer, and they went in and checked it out. I mean, sales wise, it probably went up that day. Those days, probably 15%. Department of Public Health did free cooking classes for us at Greenview inside the building for the seniors, and I actually gave them the product off the trailer to cook. So they promoted it.
Me to cook? Yeah, I didn't ask.
So
It wasn't rutabagas. Wasn't it rutabagas?
the cooking classes happen inside Greenview Park.
Inside the park, yeah.
What were they cooking on?
The first 2, they brought already prepared stuff. They did like mango salsa and then gave the recipe out and gave out samples. The second time they did like a salad. No, that was the one they actually cooked.
Yeah.
They actually cooked the stir fry from products off the trailer and gave out the recipe.
Nice.
Pretty cool.
Yep. And then USC we're just waiting on the approval from the college to get the team out there to start doing the health checks and all that stuff. And then this weekend, I can mention it, right? This weekend, I got another message from a USC group, and they want to do some A1C testing and stuff at some of the stops. They actually got a grant from AFLAC to do some stuff. So we got to coordinate that. That just literally came in like Friday.
That's pretty good.
Promotional stuff, we have the cards, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. Soda City's a big hit. I roughly estimate probably 35,000 people a week see the trailer,
Pretty good.
just going down the road. Because I live out in Hopkins, and I literally have people, I actually had a person Saturday follow me to the farm to buy figures. Because she saw the trailer, she lived out on 378, and she saw the trailer every day going to work. And she got on the Facebook, on my website, and couldn't order because I have it shut down. And she called me, and she actually came out to the farm.
Wow, okay.
So the trailer, we had, the commercial. We didn't put that in there. So DSS actually shot a commercial that's gonna go statewide off the trailer. Promoting Healthy Bucks. They actually did our store down at 912 Lady Street. And I was there and I said, hey, let's do it mobile. And they actually came out to Hardin Street and shot a commercial.
I love it.
And that's gonna be statewide. I don't know when. I don't even know if it's edited. They're supposed to send me a copy when they get it done, and if DSS approves it. The DSS has to approve it and all that stuff, but. We did the Comet Central stuff. We were advertising on the buses through Comet. What else we got for promotions?
Our public relations team could.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the PR department is with us all the time. They're great. They're doing reels, live reels on the trailer. It's a good environment. They have some interns, and the interns love it. It's teaching them
Yeah.
how to do PR.
I did have a question, and I don't know if you were done or not, but you said statewide interest. Is that something that you need council to, I know that we talked with one of our state reps who happened to be at Soda City.
Yeah.
Mr. Rutherford had an interest. Let us know if there's anything we.
I get emails from Greenville. I've got emails from Florence. I've got emails
they
from
wanna take
Winsboro.
you.
They want the trailer.
Oh.
A replicate.
I thought they
Or
wanted to
replicate.
bring.
Or
I
replicate.
don't know why I thought they wanted to come or bring, okay, I got you.
No, they want the trailer
Or get their own.
or get their own.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I know we wanted to talk.
Very
about-
interesting.
We did have that.
Oh, I did hire an additional staff on the trailer, which is a retired vet. I just retired out of Jackson 4 months ago.
So that's two folks under you?
Yes. My niece, Tess, that you met. I think you
Yes.
met Tess. Yeah.
Yes. Well, that's exciting news, Mr. Brennan.
So, a couple questions. Thanks for the general updates. Ms. Riggers, what is the relationship with the trailer and community development? Is it a contract? What,
With OBO, so we just kind of administer,
okay.
administer the funding for it. So we approve all the invoices and just discuss deliverables with them on how they're.
so we're 6 months into it.
Mhm.
Still growing it.
Yes.
Visibility growth is important. Are you providing any financials? Or is there any requirement to provide financials for us to track
Yes.
the growth? And I hope it's a curve going up, right?
It is.
Yes. So he does provide, he's provided a monthly report to me on a sales, number of customers, things that are selling. So you can see what's popular.
Is that just for internal use or is that something the public?
Currently it's internal use, since it is, his business finances. But he does submit that to me.
So I think we need to start shaping a summary of that.
Yeah, okay.
For public
For
consumption.
yeah. Because we sit here and we give great updates,
Yeah.
but it's those metrics that we need to point to that say it's working, it's growing, or we need to pivot, it's not working. With that said, I think you mentioned, Ms. Riggers, we're working towards something in January.
Right, so the initial contract was an 18-month contract, so with an option to renew it, I believe 2 one-year renewals. So that's when the next renewal was.
Is the renewal programmed in the original grant?
It was.
So there's 2 renewals that are programmed in the original grant. So it's fair to say that we have funding for 3 years in some capacity.
I think the funding was available for the second year.
Yeah.
But we'd have to identify funding for the.
There's literally about 12 months left
Yeah.
from what we kind of ran the
Do you
numbers.
have that general number in mind for what a
Yes.
year to renew would be?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I would like you to take that forward if it needs to come through food policy or through this for consideration in the future.
It may make a whole bunch of money.
Well, that's the hope, is that you don't need it in the end.
Yeah. I would think by the third year, I really think it's working on its way to be sustainable. I think by the third year, if the city lets me use the stops at least, if we have to like rent a spot to put it in, then, you're throwing a whole nother,
Soda City give you a free,
no,
no, they don't.
no,
So the Soda City sales, is that into the?
no, that is, I did Soda City way before.
I know that, but,
Yeah.
okay, I just want to make sure that wasn't inflating the number.
No, and we had it in the original contract that I was allowed to take the trailer to Soda. That was one of my specs in the trailer, that I was going to use it for Soda City
Okay.
on my expense.
But yeah, it's not included in his sale.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
All right,
No, the only thing that I report to her is the Monday through Thursday,
gotcha.
which is the city stops.
All right, thanks,
I
Larry.
like it. Thank you so much.
You have that.
Nothing. Thank you.
Where's my agenda? It's over here. All right, and so the last thing we have, oh wait, I'm sorry, did anyone from the Food Policy Committee have anything that they wanted to add?
Yes, I know, this is looking back and not looking forward.
See, I knew someone had something to add, that's why I threw that out.
Oh, okay.
What is it?
I did want to point out the food truck, or the mobile, grocery store is funded through ARPA money.
Right, yes.
Ashley just wanted to add that she has some pictures that she would like to share with council, so I'll make sure you receive those.
Okay, and can you acknowledge, the committee members who are present?
Ashley Page, Shawna Cooper, Cato. I was looking at you, I was like, it's not Cooper. Cato. Yes. They're here and they're very supportive. We talk to them on a regular basis just to see how we can make progress with the mobile market.
Thank you, ladies, appreciate it, thank you. And so now, the Consolidated Annual Performance Evaluation Report, the CAPER, Ms. Felicia Kilgore.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So what I have is the Consolidated Annual Performance Evaluation Report, which we refer to in the office as CAPER. This outline,
You can't whisper. Tell Larry you can't whisper. His voice is too deep to whisper. Go ahead.
so what we're sharing is our activities, our disbursements, expenditures that we have managed through 2023 and 2024. The fiscal year ended June 24, so it includes activities and disbursements throughout that particular time frame. Okay. So this is a reporting that we are required by HUD that we have to share with them at the end of each fiscal year. And the purpose is to ensure that we are transparent in regards to how we manage our federal dollars, our entitlement dollars. And so again, it is an evaluation of how we've expended our federal funds throughout the various activities, and it provides a mandatory report to HUD up under the regulation 24 CFR Part 91. And of course, it gives the citizens an opportunity to provide comments and share their thoughts in regards to our activities.
Now, so quick question. So the public comment period will be based on what's already been done for this?
So the public comment period is actually a 30-day period that started, began in August 23rd. And it'll end September the 24th. So it gives our residents an opportunity to kind of share their thoughts on how we have managed the federal dollars and
prior
activities
year.
from prior year.
That's okay, thank you.
Yes, July 23 to June 24. And so a part of the participation is that we, of course, the 30-day comment period, and then, of course, this particular forum that we're having this morning here at the community development meeting. And then, of course, we have another public hearing scheduled for September the 24th. It'll be at Earlwood at 6 o'clock in the evening. And so we'll actually have that published as well, so that everyone knows that they can come in and share their thoughts. And we'll go over all of our activities as well during that time frame. Let's see, am I going backwards? I'm going backwards, okay. All right, perfect. So what we want to share with you, our entitlement dollars, what we received through CDBG, Home, and HOPWA. And so our revenue would include our entitlement as well as our program income. For CDBG, we received $2.3 million, which includes, again, entitlement and program dollars. And then also outline what we expended. So we expended $1.6 million during this past fiscal year in our home investment partnership program. We actually includes entitlement as well as program income. We had $1.4 million. And if you notice that our expenditure wasn't quite as great, we expended $96,000. That is subject to change very soon. We have put out a NOFA back in September of last year for availability of funds. We put out $3.5 million to work with nonprofit and for-profit organizations. We received 3 applications during that time frame, and we're looking at awarding two of those applications. The organization that we're looking at funding is, of course, TN Development Corporation, as well as Homeless No More. And so you will see a drastic difference in the next fiscal year in terms of expenditures with home. Up under our HOPWA program, which is Housing Opportunity for Persons with AIDS, we received $1.8 million, and we expended 1.7 in the HOPWA dollars.
Who's the provider that gets that?
HOPWA. So we work with USC, we work with Mercy. Hold on, I got a listing here so I can be accurate with you. USC, give me the listing, Dolly. Mercy, StromU, PALS, and I'm missing one more.
We work with USC Upper Savannah Care Services, the Cooperative Ministry, Midlands Housing Alliance, and CHA.
So,
Housing Authority.
so is that to pay for rents for citizens?
Rental assistance, also various other services.
And that covers that particular pot, the HOPWA, it's not just Columbia.
Not just Columbia, as a matter of fact, it's 6 counties that we serve, providing dollars to those various organizations that we just shared. So the other counties are Calhoun, Fairfield, Kershaw, Lexington, Richland, and Saluda.
And it's 1.8 million?
Yes,
Is that pretty consistent yearly?
that's been pretty consistent. We've had a little bit of an increase over the years, but not a tremendous amount.
Do you have a breakdown of what percentage goes to rental assistance versus healthcare services?
I don't have that readily handy, but we can certainly get you that information. We have that at the office.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay. So in regards to our congressional grant expenditures, those are dollars that we receive through our CDBG program for our coronavirus. There was a one-time allocation that we're still managing, as well as our home ARP dollars, and then, of course, our HOPWA CV. So with our CV dollars, it does outline how much we receive and how much we've expended. That program actually ends in September 2026. So we are actually working with Parks and Rec to support them with many of their bathroom upgrades to make them more hands-free type accessible for the public. And then we're also in communication with Food Share to support them with another avenue to provide foods and help deliver food in a refrigerated type transportation vehicle. And so hopefully we can support them soon in regards to those dollars, and we can finalize that particular program. With Home ARP, we are still in our planning stages.
Just one quick question. So under CDBG CV, the funds or how we plan to spend, that decision has been made. It's just a matter of making this expenditures.
So the Parks and Rec, actually, that decision has been made. The additional funds that we have left, which are about $300,000 that have not been finalized, is still in planning negotiation stages.
Thank you, ma'am.
Home ARP, we're still in the planning stages of it. That program actually ends in September 2030, so we do have some time, but as you know, with all programs, those time pass pretty quickly. So you want to certainly get started. With our Hopper, we have closed it out. We dispersed all funds of it. It was closed out March of '24. Okay, just kind of share a little bit of information about the impact that we have in regards to managing our federal entitlement dollars. Kind of outline on the top graph here what we've expended in total entitlement, which is let me put my glasses on, 3.5 million. And it also outlines that the dollar amount that we've have leveraged utilizing other federal dollars, local dollars, and state dollars, create an impact of 8 million in regards to the usage of our federal entitlement funds. So you can see the impact.
What kind of pool, what kind of funds would be considered under the leverage funds? Where would those dollars be coming from?
So it could actually be private dollars.
Like actual homeowners or?
Yes,
Okay.
and of course, state dollars as well. Okay, for our DR and mitigation, of course, we're still working through that particular program there. It does outline what we have expended since the receipt of those funds. In DR, we've expended 25 million. Also in the mitigation, which is highlighted in the orange, we've expended 1.5. And then the reporting period, which is this period here, which is what we were speaking upon, what we're reporting, outlines what we expended in the mitigation, which is a little over 800,000, and as well as the DR, which is 875,000. I'm gonna skip this right here. It's a repeat of a previous slide.
And then just so I'm clear, we have until July 2025. That's a year. So almost a year to finish with DR.
Yes, with the extension. Okay. All right, want to highlight some additional highlights we had throughout last year. We celebrated National Community Development Week, which started April 1st through the 5th. During that time frame, we did have a number of things that took place during that week. We had some community service activities that was planned with the staff. We also had the 50th celebration of Community Development Block Grant. It celebrated its 50th year, which is pretty exciting. We had that at the USC Alumni Center. Councilwoman Herbert was one of our speakers there during that event. We also won the award, which is John Sasso Award, for the number of activities and the type of activities that we had during the National Community Development Week, which is pretty cool. That event was held in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and that was June 25th of '24. Love Your Block. It's a pretty popular program with our neighborhoods. We've supported 11 neighborhoods now, expending a little over $15,000. This coming year, we've increased it a little bit from $1,200 to $1,800 that the neighborhood can apply for assistance with making some necessary improvements in their neighborhoods, in their communities. With our customer assistance program, we assisted about 490 citizens, dispersing $234,000. And that is designed to assist homeowners if they become delinquent within their water and sewer expenses.
Are people still, I know for a season, a lot of folks were applying. Are people still able to apply for that, or are the numbers like they were? I thought they were kind of elevated a while ago. Have they, what's the word? Have they leveled off, or?
Really have not leveled off within the past several months. It's been pretty consistent. Each month is a little more than others, but overall, it's up there.
And so, and they are still able to apply because funding is still
It
there.
is. We still have sufficient funding to support that program. Okay, so also highlighting some neighborhood meetings that we've had. We've provided support the neighborhoods with various flyers to support their meetings and activities within their particular neighborhoods. We've had some collaborative workshops. We've had 4 of those. And then we've also had some community improvement activities. We have 7 of those that involve our Public Works Division. And then, of course, our All Access that we partner with OBO, Business Funding and Exploration of Business Needs. I cannot leave out the tenants and landlord that we coordinated back in January. That was a pretty successful event. It was well attended. And so we actually going to do something like that again in the next few months. Maybe not at the convention center, but at Busby Street. Highlighting a little bit about our housing loan program. We are still working to improve our housing number to get folks into homeownership. That is a work in process. It does require a lot of work and funding, some pretty creative funding in terms of our housing program. But I want to outline that we did assist a total of 10 folks. Nine folks into homeownership, and we had one particular SHINE program that was closed out. In the next fiscal year, you will see a much better number there, particularly as it relates to homeownership as well as SHINE. So we do expect those numbers to increase in the next fiscal year.
I have gotten a couple of calls for SHINE. Are we still taking SHINE applications, or are we not taking them?
So we opened up SHINE for application back in July of last year. And we received such a huge influx of applications, well over 115. So we pretty much placed a hold in terms of applicants, new applicants coming into the program. So we are still working through all those applications.
So, but.
So no, you cannot apply.
No, you cannot apply.
Okay, so don't send people,
They don't
don't
send
send people.
people.
Okay.
Okay.
And I guess what that means
Go
too
ahead.
is if people say they have applied, just tell them, give them some more time.
Give us more time. You can have them to reach back out to if we can provide them a status update in regards to that application.
Did you say that we've helped 9 people get homes this year?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And that's on, I'm looking at the housing program spotlights. Is that on here?
So we had 4 homeowners that applied through the affordable housing or our City Lender 1, which is designed for 80% below the AMI. We had 3 that fell up under our City Lender 2, which is for individuals up to 120% of the AMI, which is kind of outlined in the chart that Tina provided with you all in terms of required incomes.
Purchase homes, correct? Purchase homes.
First-time home buyers? Yes, great majority are first-time home buyers.
And the other two, where will they be at?
So actually, one was the Shine, and then the city ARP. That was actually a roof replacement there. So that was not a purchase. And then of course so no, we only had like 7 purchase loans, and then the emergency repair, which is another minor. We had to make some assistance, provide some additional assistance to a homeowner that applied for assistance through the DR. So we helped him get some squirrels out of his attic and do some other repairs.
And that's page 35. We were trying to find that. It's in the packet, is page 35, that chart.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so public service, which is utilizing our CDBG dollars that we actually put out in terms of a NOFA. We met with HomeWorks earlier this morning in regards to being able to apply for CDBG dollars. So these are the organization that we actually awarded up under our public service dollars. Rainy Day, Fast Forward, Mercy, Mentalist Housing Allowance, and City Year.
Several questions here. CDBG Public Services funding, to what amount is that last year?
It's a little over 200,000.
200,000 spread out between these
Yes.
5 groups? Is that consistent?
That's pretty consistent because it's
Moving forward.
15% of our entitlement dollars that we receive on an annual basis.
So next year and the year after and the year after, 200,000 is kind of the
Is the
The
kind
number.
of average
Do
range.
you know, can you run through these 5 and give us what the funding was for last year? Out of the
Dollar
CDBG?
amount?
Dolly, you have that broken down with you?
And I was gonna say, while Dolly pulls that, just explain it to Mr. Brennan, when we get our CDBG, the full allocation, only 15%
Yeah.
can go towards public services.
That's right.
So we're capped at whatever the percentage is of
Yeah.
the total allocation.
You don't have it?
Oh, so that number's on
Unfortunately, we
page
don't have
21.
that right now. We can
So
certainly
page
provide
21.
that to you.
We have it.
You have it?
Yeah, okay, so Rainy Day is 47,000. Fast Forward, 37. Mercy, 75. Housing Alliance, 28, and City Center, 54. That's more than 200, isn't it?
Is that 200 the exact number?
It's a little bit.
It's approximate, that was approximate number.
How long have we been giving money to Rainy Day Fund?
This is our first time actually funding Rainy Day.
Was
They
there-
didn't apply this time around.
They didn't apply? Do you have any reason? Do you know why they didn't apply this time around? Any clue?
Well, a few challenges in regards to how they managed and the paperwork they had to submit to us could have caused some reservation in terms of resubmitting an application to us.
Was there a goal or anything with Rainy Day Fund as far as legal services they provided to those experiencing homelessness?
Was there a goal provided to
Goal
them?
as far as- I mean, if they're providing legal services for people experiencing or exiting homelessness, what were those legal services for? Would it be, representation like the public defender's office would do, or it would fill in some gap that there's already not some indigent service for?
So I know they had been providing financial assistance for folks that was being transitioning out of being incarcerated. They helped them with some of those types of services. But I don't recall them providing a goal in terms of legal services
Okay,
in terms of their application when they apply for funding.
thank you.
So what type of grant management do we have to do for these CDBG public service funds when it comes to working with these partners?
So there's certain documentation that they are required to submit, whereas outlines the, who they servicing, verification that who they are servicing is low to moderate to ensure it applies. If it's to support salary, they have to provide documentation, checks being dispersed,
So one
copies.
folks provide salaries for employees of it?
And so all that has to be outlined, documented, how many hours that was allocated towards managing those particular programs in regards to what we supporting in terms of if it is salaries.
And just to be clear, this is over and above the funding these folks, if they do get funding from HUD through the continuum of care. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Is it over and above?
Over above.
All right, thank you.
And Felicia, this is a year look back. Do you know who we funded for the current cycle out of public services? I'm putting you on the spot. You
Fast
may know.
forward, Mercy, Midlands Housing, Salvation Army, and I think it was City Year. City Year did not reapply.
There was an intent, if I'm not mistaken, y'all correct me if I'm wrong, as Rapid Shelter was coming online, just as a reminder to the committee members that we pull in the same direction with what the council's intentions were as far as standing up homeless services. So it was a request that other funds that the city administers, if it were applicable towards homeless services, that it be an overarching goal to utilize entities that would also particularly be able to serve potentially clients at Rapid Shelter.
So essentially, good team players with our Rapid Shelters operations. Do you feel good about the partners that we funded those for being good partners with Rapid Shelter moving forward?
I think that's probably a better question for Kamisha. I think that, yes, in general terms, yes, sir, yes. My bigger concern is what, I think Felicia somewhat touched upon is we have to move the goal with spending the funds to meet timeliness. And it is more important to me that, yes, we find those who are pulling in the direction of the overarching goals of the city, but they also have to have the wherewithal to spend the funds and be compliant and timely.
Absolutely. Agreed.
So I think there's two things there. With some of them are probably doing a great job, others not as much.
And is that a capacity issue?
Well, I don't know.
It can be.
It
It can be a capacity issue.
In general, across.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, so in regards to our public service dollars, we work closely with our Parks and Recs, and we have always have in the past 5+ years, supporting their many different activities and needs. So this right here kind of outlines the 3 parks that we've assisted this past fiscal year. Randall Park, we're building a pocket park out there, Randall Avenue, and we invested $270,000 in that particular area. T.S. Martin, $17,000 to replace some benches and fences there. Hyatt Park, we're in their 3rd phase, so we've invested quite a bit in Hyatt Park. So $339,000
Baseball there.
for a new playground and build some new bleachers.
And I would have to make sure, Ms. Wilson may have been copied on that, that Hyatt Park has requested a meeting to see where we're going next with the next phase of their park development. And
Wow.
I want to make sure I note that we have received that request and we are going to work on that.
How are the parks selected or considered for CDBG funding for improvements?
So with our public dollars, when we put out the no fund, we work with many city departments in the past. And so they automatically know, to apply for the request of their needs. And The key is them understanding that these are federal dollars and that the project has to be pretty much ready to move forward so the funds can be dispersed by the end of its fiscal year. And they have worked really well with us, and so they understand that, things have to move forward.
You can pretty much rely upon Parks and Recreation, Public Works,
Yeah.
and Code Enforcement to always have something shovel-ready, Councilman. And that, again, to the last point we made, while it's important to me that the funds are dispersed to public entities across the city, there's more than enough work to be done internal to the city where I know that the compliance and the shovel readiness is there. So sometimes if I seem that I'm more inclined for the funds to be spent internally, that typically is why, because it's gonna serve the same, needs and make them be more, far-reaching with the impact. That's not to say that the other entities are not doing good work, and it's important work. But I think sometimes when we're getting into this amount of funds that need to be spent, more timely, this is a more efficient way to do that.
Understandable. Thank you.
Yeah, there's also targeted neighborhoods.
Yeah, I was just saying, and there's targeted areas too, so.
Help improve those communities.
Those funds don't have a local match requirement, do they?
Not
Have we,
those.
have we ever leveraged PRT funds when it comes to park and rec upgrades?
We generally just fund the entire expense.
The Parks and Rec have
Yeah.
used PRT funds,
Right.
but separate than these funds. I mean, I think they use a wide array of funding.
And sometimes a project may have, a coupling of different funding sources, as you know. General fund, PRT, CDBG.
This right here also outlines, and I'm not putting OBO on the spot by no means of the imagination, but this right here to Ms. Wilson, just shared that it is important that, we work with entities, that can, move projects forward. Now, they've had a few hiccups along the way beyond their control, but they are still providing an excellent service to the various, small businesses that we have outlined here. And so we provide them an extension to September, so we feel very strongly that these things right here would be finalized and we can close those projects and we can include these activities in our final CAPER, which we have to submit to HUD at the end of the month.
That 248 total number, a percentage of that goes for project management under the staff umbrella, right? Does that 248 make it completely out into the business community?
Yes,
Yeah.
So there's no grant percentage
not to
taken
our
for
staff,
internal management?
not for internal.
Our overall allocation, there's some grant management.
Yeah, and that comes out of our admin funds that support our staff in terms of administering these.
How do these
entitlement dollars.
businesses report what is being done for that money?
Go ahead.
So we have staff internally that does site visits, our loan officer, and then our coordinator for our CRR program to make sure the work is being done. They work with the business owner who's actually responsible for kind of the management of the work. But daily, our staff is out there tracking
We almost
completion of the work.
micromanage.
We do, we're out there a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
just
almost
because,
micromanage that.
ultimately, we're responsible to make sure the funds are spent correctly.
Yeah.
So we're out there on a daily
All right,
basis.
thank you.
Thank you, Aisha.
That's what Jerry Lynn used to do.
As you're moving forward, Keisha, ACM Simons is listening to the meeting and instructions at the committee note that Randall Avenue Pocket Park ribbon cutting is on September 30th. So they are
Excellent.
moving things along.
Excellent.
Thank you, Mr. Simons.
Okay, so just reiterating our home investment. We placed a note out in September, $3.5 million that we put out there. We received 3 applications. We're hoping to, moving forward with 2 applications to fund 2 projects, TN and Homeless No More. Okay, just more accomplishment with the HOPWA dollars that we talked about earlier. Outlining that we assisted 80 in terms of the tenant-based rental assistance. 808 persons received some type of supportive services. And then 120 received short-term, either mortgage, utility, or rent assistance. And then 507 received some housing information services. So a total leveraged dollars is $8 million there. And then we also have outlined the 6 counties that we had shared that we provide assistance, work with the entities, partners that we shared, where they serve those particular counties that's listed: Calhoun, Fairfield, Kershaw, Lexington, Richland, and Saluda.
So Mr. Brennan was asking earlier about rental assistance or the percentage. I'm assuming some of these, the people might be duplicates, like they make
They could very well be.
but at least
So he wants that broken
120.
down. Mhm.
Well, no, because that's utility assistance too, but that is some guidance on how many people are getting.
Assistance.
Yeah.
Any further questions about the HOPWA? So this completes our presentation, our compliance, which we have them listed here, except for Lamar. He didn't join us today. So they are responsible to ensure that we manage those entitlement dollars based on the regulation HUD guidelines of each federal program. They do an excellent job. They work well together. And so many of our department staff works directly with one of our compliance officer here. Peyton actually works directly with our Parks and Rec. Nicolette works very closely with our OBO division. So, and then Lamar manages our subrecipients for HOPWA. And then Addie's is our environmental guru. She assists us tremendously with our environmentals that we're in charge of to ensure that it meets all the federal guidelines so that we can disperse and allocate funds. And then she also oversees many of our others, CDBG subrecipients as well. And of course, Dolly
And we are grateful.
is our administrator of our federal funds for the department. Any further questions?
Yes, one question about the CAP program. How do citizens learn about this? So let's say you had a leak and you find out when you get a $2,000 water bill and they do pay somebody to make it fix, so they get a credit. How do they find out about that there's assistance to help them pay those past due water?
Is it, good question. They found out about that program through the customer service representative, and they will refer them to encourage them to fill out the application. Gather some supporting documentation, and that information comes to our department for us to vet and review and approve. And if there's any additional documentation that is required, we work with water customer service as well as that client to ensure that that application is packaged properly so that we can request funding. But they are first notified through water customer service.
Thank you. Is that income based?
It is income based, up to 80% of the AMI. And they can receive up to $1,000 of assistance.
$1,000? Thank you.
Do they get
Water
to
and
apply
sewer.
several times?
They can apply one time in 12 months, 2 times in 36 months. So they can apply 2 times within a 36-month span.
Okay. And the 36-month, that is capped at 1,000?
Yes.
So this is an annual review
Yes.
of what? Of community developments?
Community development activities and managing the disbursements, which
Okay,
means,
so the plan is this done annually, or is this done, is it a kind of a master plan flow that we update?
yeah, this is a required annual report that we're required to submit to
Okay, so the
HUD.
scope and objectives for this year have already been set? For 2024, 2025?
Not necessarily, because we're also in the process of our consolidated 5-year plan. And so we still can receive some feedback and guidance.
Because that's where I'm a little confused.
So you've got a caper that's a look back, and then you've got an action plan that's a look forward. Y'all also approve the action plan, and then every 5 years, there's a consolidated plan that mixes in with that action plan.
Correct.
When the RFP, that, maybe talk about that process, that was out.
Because we're going into the 5-year.
Consolidated plan, and it will include, so y'all have already approved the action plan for the current year. We're
Individual
actually
year.
waiting on HUD's final approval of that. But going into the next 5-year period, there'll be a consolidated plan that will also include the next year's action plan.
So when does the consolidated plan of action happen?
We're out for a consultant to help us. It's due in June? Is that, or May?
Yeah,
That's the RFP. though.
RFP.
So there's a RFP for a consultant to help us through the analysis that will guide y'all
Data.
through helping us set the next 5-year consolidated.
So I mean, when does this council, when will we be able to set those priorities in the consolidated plan?
That's part of what we were trying to schedule, like a working session.
Okay.
So we're working on that, but is the staff preference to have the consultant online first before we do that?
Not necessarily.
Yeah, so it's a scheduling.
I mean, now's the time, the fall.
Now's the time, yeah.
That's gonna guide how we write our NOFA that
Yeah.
comes out at the end of October.
Absolutely.
For the next cycle of funding.
I don't think it's a bad thing to have the consultant.
Right, yeah,
But-
I agree.
So I thought that the action, it had to go out in October, which means this is the last month that we could have relevant input.
I know if it goes out for application in October,
So we would need to do that this month.
The end of October.
end of October.
Well, the key thing is I think everyone knows that we do want to talk and make sure we have input so that kind of like with the homeless services, making sure we're all moving in the same direction. As well as the 8 areas, maybe.
Yeah, targeted communities.
Don't invite Rev to the meeting.
Reducing them
we don't have
down
to
so you
fight.
can see a bigger impact. We've talked a lot about,
Right.
we have a lot of targeted areas, all of which are needed, but does it make more sense to take it in smaller chunks?
And I think one of the things, we probably exchanged some emails, but like, for instance, if there are projects that staff has been anticipating working on and we know that folks have been waiting for, we kind of need to know that because it is not the intent to just derail any plans, but kind of see, so we had that 5-year solid, which should make it easier to make timeliness because we know 1, 2,
Right.
3, 4.
We can concentrate, yes.
Yeah. This was very thorough. Thank y'all so much. Y'all got any other questions? So I did want to make a note. I sent an email out. Some things that didn't make it to the agenda for this month. Maybe that's what I'm gonna call it. Some of the things we need to, and this is just for Miss Erica, and then for my fellow council folks if they have any input. But CCN, I had a note here making sure we had clarification on what groups could be funded, not funded, if they needed to be a nonprofit. That was something that was discussed, but I don't know if there was a final decision on that. And we did need to get Ryan to come back and give a update on the North Main Corridor meeting. And then we have Mr. Bailey's ad hoc committee. We are supposed to come and get the purpose. We need to still have that discussion of what the purpose of the ad hoc committee is going to be so that we can then decide where we go with it. And then language from legal for any of the residential properties that we have to make sure that they maintain the requirement of affordability like we do with our CDBG and so forth. That was just a list that I got from off the minutes. I don't know if anybody else has anything top of mind. Your housing gown and gown. We're good. Anybody else have anything that I may have missed? No? All right, well, if all hearts and minds are clear, I would gladly take a motion to adjourn,
So moved.
and that is unanimously approved by all of us.